Why did the Romans ban marriage between different social classes? And what does that say about their culture? As it turns out, quite a lot. Around 449 BC, the Romans created their first set of written laws. The code specifically banned intermarriage between the two main classes in Rome at that time, the plebeians and the patricians. Since being a patrician was hereditary, this essentially banned the plebeians from ever reaching the upper echelons of society. Now, this obviously pissed off the plebeians, but when they introduced a bill to repeal the ban on intermarriage, the patricians fiercely fought back in the Senate. But what's the big deal here? It's not like class was evenly divided by economic status. You could be a very wealthy plebeian and a broke patrician who's just down on his luck. Well, in Rome, it all comes down to one word: status. Rome was a highly status-conscious society. So much so that it was baked into almost every aspect of their culture. There were numerous privileges preserved only for the upper classes. For example, the Romans eventually passed a law reserving the best seats at the theater for the equestrian class. And one Roman writer said that even the quality of food you got at a dinner party could be dependent on your status in society. Not to mention that in order to be a consul, you had to be a patrician. It's hard to overstate how big of a deal this was to the Romans. They craved something called dignitas, or the influence you gained over your lifetime. And throughout Roman history, there would be these legendary families that could trace their lineage all the way back to the founding of Rome. And maintaining the dignitas and glory of these family names would be what drove Rome's most ambitious men, like Julius Caesar, to do what they did. So when the plebeians tried to revoke the ban on intermarriage, they were really trying to blur the lines between the upper and lower classes. This all came about as part of a centuries-long struggle by the plebeians to gain more rights for themselves, called the conflict of the orders. In this case, the plebeians actually succeeded. It was a rare instance of popular sentiment overwhelming the resistance of the nobility. It had a huge impact on Roman history and was a symbolic victory for the plebeians. It allowed for political partnerships across the old class divide, allowing wealthy plebeians into the upper echelons of society for the first time. And it was an early indicator of Roman flexibility. One of the key strengths of the Romans was their ability to integrate other cultures into their own. That played a huge role in their later expansion, and it all got started right here. That's all for now. Stick around for some more deep dives into Roman history.